My name's Shelley Marshall and I research business and human rights. My research for the last 15 years or so has been primarily about labour conditions in complex supply chains. So we're talking about workers who are toiling in their homes or in small sweatshops, normally in the garment industry, but I'm also looking at other industries as well. And they're working, making clothes often for big brands. So I've seen all the big brands being made within people's houses, and my research has taken me to India and Indonesia and Cambodia and Bulgaria, and often I see the same brands being sewn in all those countries by workers that are speaking different languages but still working in their homes and being paid really kind of the lowest wages that you can imagine. I was invited by the International Labour Organization, which is the UN body that looks after labour issues. I was asked to advise the Thai government about how to implement laws that would improve the conditions of home-based workers. So I've been in Thailand this year doing interviews with home workers who make fishing nets, people who are working in their homes or in kind of small groups sewing clothes for all the big brands. I also see workers just sitting out the front of their houses making the fishing nets, for example, and the conditions are appalling. And in the case of fishing nets, I saw so many workers that are using lead, and they're getting lead poisoning because the lead is used as the weight to weigh the fishing net down. So there are all kinds of health and safety problems that aren't regulated because it's so hard to regulate the work of home-based workers. So the problem I'm trying to solve is, how do we regulate supply chains? Because these workers are often hidden, and the players that have the most power are often in another country, a big brand, or in the case of fishing nets, it might be a big buyer somewhere else in Asia. And so there's no connection, there's no responsibility that big player has. There are laws that have been passed to ensure that home workers are covered by labour laws, or that supply chains are being regulated. But unfortunately, they're generally, because labour law is only national, they can't get to these transnational supply chains. They can't get to the people who are in power. And that's what I'm interested in.